guys, and welcome back to another episode of SupercarTribe. Today I am going to share with you the 10 things that I love about my Porsche Cayenne GTS. So if you're new to the channel, then don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully you'll like the video. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So let's start off with number one. And if you've watched the previous video about the car, then you'll probably know what this one is. This is the gearbox. Yeah, the first one was always going to be easy. It's the gearbox itself. So as you can see, it's a manual. It's a 6-speed manual gearbox, and it's a very rare option. I mean, the manual was more so available on the earlier, on the smaller engine cars, the V6s. But to have a V8 with the manual gearbox is a very, very rare option. And this is believed to be the only GTS manual in Saudi Arabia, which makes it a very, very rare car. But the reason why I love the manual so much is because it just really adds to the driving experience. I mean, I use this car every day, so for a lot of people, they might sort of think that, you know, a manual gearbox is not going to be particularly good, but trust me, it really makes the car. Now, the second thing I love about the car is the fact that it's a 4.8 litre V8, non-turboed, right? I absolutely love that. And the power output is about 400 brake horsepower plus. So it's really quite a special car. The engine is just brilliant. I mean, it pulls from really low revs and just keeps pulling all the way up to sort of insane sort of speeds, which for a big car is just exactly what you need. Now the roads over here are very sort of wide, long, you know, curves as well, but you know, there's more so sort of a lot of straights. So you want to have something that's powerful, and this really does hit the mark. And as you can see where I am at the moment, I'm in this, you know, this farm, and you know, the road is the track is just like dust. So you know, we'll just have to bear with it, but it's really made the car quite dusty and dirty. The third thing I love about this car is the exhaust sound, and I mean, it's idling at the moment, but in the future we'll try and set up some microphones on the back to capture that exhaust note. But when you're accelerating, it is just nuts, absolutely nuts. I mean, you can imagine 4.8 litre V8 engine made by Porsche, it's going to sound good. The fourth thing I've got to say is the air suspension, and this car, it comes with air suspension. Some of the lower spec models, they only come with coils or sort of regular suspension, and this has got air suspension, and I've got to say it works really, really well. It makes it so comfortable to drive, but at the same time, because the suspension, you know, you can sort of raise it and lower it as well. You know, when you're on motorways going at speed, or even just driving around town, you can lower the suspension as well, and it really adds to the driving experience. But the fifth thing is linked to the last two, and that is what we have here, which is the sports button. Now, as you can see, I've got it switched on, which I highly recommend. I mean, basically what happens is when you're accelerating, the valves are closed on the exhaust, and it's not as sort of as loud as you want it to be. But when you sort of accelerate hard, then the valves open up, which is all great. But what the sports button does is it opens up the valves from the get-go, right? So it doesn't mess around. The valves are open, you know, from 1,000 RPM upwards. Plus the suspension sits down a little bit. It sort of just squats down a little bit, and you know, it's kind of ready to go. So the first thing that I do when I switch on the car, put on the sports button, changes the whole experience. I mean, it just sounds epic. Going through tunnels is just epic. So the sixth thing I love about my car is actually the specifications. So, you know, the red exterior, the black and red highlights on the interior, I think really just makes it special. I mean, you know, it really, I mean, I've seen some really odd combinations on cars, and even when I was looking for this one, I saw some really strange combos. But you know, this actually I think looks really, really good. You know, especially with the the red seat belts. You've got a little bit of red on the steering wheel over there as well. It's a dual tone steering wheel, but otherwise black leather, black Alcantara, and then the headlining as well. So, you know, definitely love this combination. Number 7, and it's actually related to this point, is the fact that it is such a high spec car. I didn't actually realize at the time when I bought it that, you know, I knew it was a GTS, but there's a lot of things on this car which, you know, I just didn't realize. So standard sort of GTS things is things like this, you know, this roof spoiler. We've got the side skirts down there, the turbo alloys, which look really bad at the moment, I have to say. But other things that are not standard is things like, you know, the leather lined dash, you know, the upper and the lowers, you know, all the, you know, the door trimmings and everything like that. On a standard car, they actually are vinyl. They're not leather, but it's great that these ones are, and, you know, nice to have that. Got the Porsche crest there, the Alcantara, you know, the headlining in Alcantara as well. You know, I absolutely love the spec on this car. You know, it's got everything that I would want on it. You know, the memory seats, electric with memory seats as well. What else has it got? So it's got the keyless entry, keyless go. So basically, to lock the car with the car off, just press the button, car locks. Come back, grab the handle, doors open again. The buttons are on all 4 of the things. It's got the reversing camera as well, which sort of sits under here. It's currently in the down position, but when you put it into reverse, that opens up. On the interior, you can see the red dials, which look really nice. The red two-tone steering wheel as well. So all of these things are extras. I mean, they weren't with the car, which was fantastic. I'm gonna get this car cleaned. You wouldn't believe it's actually just being cleaned just yesterday, and it's because I'm over here. It's I've got all my crap in the back, so that's beeping because I've got the key in my pocket, but the car's still running. And then it's got the window blinds as well. So, you know, I just keep those down because of the tinted windows. It's dark enough. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely love the spec on this car. The 8th thing I love about it, it is actually really fun to drive. Now, I mean, I've had a number of Porsches over the years, and this particular car, I've had 2 Cayenne turbos before this, and both of them were really fun to drive. And I thought, this being a non-turbo, I might not like it so much, but it's got the bigger engine, so power-wise, it's about the same, but it's a better delivery because it's not turbocharged, so it's much more linear in terms of acceleration. But it doesn't feel like a big SUV. It feels really planted on the roads, and I think part of that is because of the tyres. It's got really, really wide tyres all around, so the stance is really, really good. But you know, the fact that it's Porsche engineering, it drives like a Porsche. I mean, I've had loads of 911s, and you know, I would say that this drives very similar. It has that same DNA to a 911. It's not going to handle exactly like a 911, but you know, it's still very similar nonetheless. You can certainly feel that it's been engineered by Porsche engineers, so that's definitely a good thing. Number 9 is the fact that it's everyday usable. You really can use this car on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I do. It's my only car at the moment, but you know, you can see it's got plenty of space up front, loads of space in the back, and you know, sit 5 adults in the car quite comfortably. And then you've got the boot space as well. I mean, I'll show you the boot, but I've got a few things in the boot. Another option, the automatic tailgate, open and close. I've got some gear in the boot at the moment, which is going to go onto the engine, but you know, this is it's a very practical car, no doubt about it. And number 10, the thing I love about these cars is the low price. I mean, when you consider that, you know, these cars brand new, you know, well north of, you know, $100,000. You know, this particular car was well maintained. You know, it's got a decent service history. The mileage was relatively good. You can see the condition. The condition is really good. You know, the fact that all of these things when considering all of these things, and you compare it to the price of a brand new one, and then you look at how much I paid for it. I got it for probably a tenth of what it would cost to buy a brand new one. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to have a check on what a brand new one is, but that's my kind of guess. And I'm getting a very comparable driving experience. Just simply by the fact that it's not brand new, it's a used car. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Great value for money. So I've jumped back in the car because it's so hot outside. It's 39 degrees today, and it is only 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's gonna get hot for sure. So I hope you liked that video. That's the top 10 things that I love about this car. Really pleased with it, to be honest with you. So if you are thinking of buying one, I definitely recommend it. Get it checked out to make sure that you're buying a decent car. But I have been so pleased with this car. I've had a few niggles which I'll cover in a future video. So if you want to know about those things, then subscribe, and then you'll get a notification when the next video comes out. So definitely give us a thumbs up if you've liked the video, and watch out for our next video, because the next one is going to be the top 10 things I do not like about my Porsche Cayenne GTS. Catch you in the next video. Take care.